Hey everyone, I'm Mike and I'm in my 50s now. And if you're like me, thinking about starting a YouTube channel, you should. You're never too old to start. I know everybody thinks they are, but you're not. My generation, Gen X, we grew up without this stuff. As we got older, we kind of started using it as adults, started using it at work, like all this technology that we have at our fingertips. Times I think we have too much of it, but I'm glad we don't because that's kind of the field that I'm in. I build web applications. I integrate AI into businesses that are needing it. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of businesses out there that still don't have it, but that's what I'm doing is I'm helping businesses integrate it into their business and learning, teaching their employees how to use it, how to integrate it to make their jobs easier. I know people seem to think AI is going to be this massive superpower that takes away their jobs and stuff, but I don't think, yes, this is going to take jobs, and it has, but I also think that the jobs that it did take, those people will kind of laterally transition into a role where they're actually using the AI to do their job, their former job, like a force multiplier almost. Well, it is a force multiplier, like times yourself times like four, the productivity. There's jobs out there that simply will go away because of AI, yes. But, hopefully those people that lose their jobs can transition into something that, will be a much better fit for them. I think it will be. That's the way it's looking anyway. A lot of people are being trained how to, you know, integrate the AI into their former job or whatever, and it's only going to help them. It's going to help their checking account. I know several people that has kind of already transitioned into that. They didn't lose their jobs, but they started learning AI and help their business kind of get on board with it, and they've made a pretty significant amount of money doing so. So, that being said, the reason why I started my channel is to simply help my fellow Gen Xers, you know, kind of find a path, help them with anything they need help with as far as like finding ways to make money online, finding new ways to make money online, helping them in retirement, or pre-retirement. That seems to be an issue with a lot of us with retirement. Being in your 50s and being retired is, it kind of feels strange. I was in my early 40s, or mid 40s when I retired fully. I retired from the United States Army. I was a Green Beret. I was an Army Ranger, and I was also, my last 7 years, I was with a special missions unit in the Special Operations Command. I retired as a sergeant major. I served 24 years. I was lost when I retired, literally lost, because I had joined it when I was a young kid, a young adult, not a kid. Well, I guess a kid by anybody's standards our age. And that's all I knew. That's all I knew. All I knew how to do was jump out of airplanes and go to war. That's it. That's all I knew how to do. Yes, I had a large skill set in my wheelhouse, but it's not really used out here into the real world, for guys like me to exist, So I kind of went down a different path. I thought, well, I took some time off just to do whatever we wanted, and just did a few things, traveled, went on vacation, whatever. Because I had been deployed 19 times in my career, and I didn't hardly get to see my kids grow up. Before I knew it, my kids were, teenagers in high school, and now they're my youngest is 20, my oldest is 25. So I missed a lot of their lives growing up, and I have a tremendous amount of guilt because of that. I feel like I did a lot of things selfishly, even though I didn't, but I feel that way just because I did miss so much of their youth growing up. Literally, I missed birthdays, Christmases, Easters, whatever. I missed it all. And for that, I can never get that back, and I can never, I just can't. It's just something you can't get back. I was too busy fighting wars and all that crap, and, as I progressed in my career, I found myself volunteering to go do different things. Probably most guys wouldn't do, but me as a Green Beret and special operations operator, that was my job. That's what I did, and I couldn't sit it out. I couldn't sit these things out. I couldn't put things to the side and let my team go to war, go do this operation without me. Not that I felt like they couldn't do it without me, because every one of my guys could do anything without me. It's not that. It's just, I had to be there. I had to be there in the fight. And a lot of military veterans probably would understand what I'm talking about, but most people don't. It's hard to talk to regular people about it because, again, it's just nothing you would understand, and I understand that and I get that. But to any veterans out there, you would probably understand what I'm talking about. It's kind of it's almost an addiction that you get. Not that we have a death wish by any means, because we want to live more than anybody. We fight to live. But I don't know. It's an addiction you get to fighting, to going to war. It's kind of doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. So anyway, I loved my career. I miss it still to this day, but I keep in touch with a lot of the guys that I served with, and they're some true heroes. Had one that won or was awarded the nation's highest award, and I had the honor of serving with the guy. So, there's no better honor than that. But yeah, I started this channel. I didn't want to make a vet channel. There's so many, like veterans channel. There's already enough of them out there, and I didn't want to have a channel where I glorify things, because I think a lot of these channels like that glorify things too much, and I didn't want to do that, because I didn't want to, recruit new people to do what I did. Because something like war is something that you never want to ever have to go back to. There's no one wins in a war. No one. I don't care how good we say we are in the United States. No one really ever wins. Because you got the guys that come home that's paying for it for the rest of their lives. A lot of us have to go to counseling for the rest of our lives, or we have horrendous injuries, or some of us don't make it back. So there's no real winner in war. Maybe the politicians that are getting rich off of us. But I will say, where I stand with war right now is I just I wish we would stay out of wars. I understand why we get into a lot of them. But to stay out of wars is the best option. You know, what's my opinion of what we're doing now? I don't really have one. You know, obviously I'm pro-military. I'm pro-America first, America only. I believe we only need to be allegiant to one country. We have politicians that seem to be allegiant to another country for some reason. Well, it's not that I don't know, because I do know, and it always revolves around money. So, as Americans, we have got to do a better job voting for these politicians, whether they be Democrat or Republican. We have got to do a better job at vetting these guys, because a lot of these guys have no business being in office. They go there to get rich. It's a path to wealth for most of them. I'm pro Donald Trump, so I'll just get that out of the way. If you don't like Donald Trump and you can't get over that, then I understand. But so with all that out of the way, I want to focus mainly on helping my fellow Gen Xers, my fellow Americans, or whoever, you know, want to help them in retirement, kind of get, you know, learn new skills. You know, I know sometimes it's hard to learn new things as we get older. Not that we can't, it's that we're kind of like set in our ways or whatnot. But trust me, you definitely can. You can learn new skills. I did, because I refused to believe that I was anything else but a warfighter. I mean, I'll just be blunt and honest. I refused to believe that I could do anything but that. I didn't know that I could learn how to code. I could learn machine learning, learn AI, artificial intelligence, learn how to create websites, web applications, help billion-dollar businesses integrate AI into their systems and whatnot. But that's what I do now. I've got my own business, and that's what I do. It took me a while, but you know, you can watch YouTube videos and learn a tremendous amount of skills. You don't have to go to college to learn this stuff. You do not have to go to college. In my opinion, college is a racket. It's a waste of money. Unless you're going to be a doctor, attorney, whatever. But to learn the skills that I learned, you don't even have to pay nothing. I did not pay a dime for any courses, for anything. And I've got a 7-figure business. So, I mean, if I can do this, anybody can do it. You know, I started creating a lot of digital products in the early days of my learning, and I wasn't selling nothing. I mean, yeah, I'd occasionally sell one or two like ebooks, guides, or whatever. You know, and I'd get this like huge rush of dopamine, like, oh my God, I just paid $24. You know, I was like, man, that was like $1 million to me. Because, you know, it wasn't the dollar figure. It was the thought that, man, I sold something online. You know, and I was like, holy crap, somebody actually believes in me. And I always put in my products that I would sell, you know, money back guarantee, even if it's a digital product, because I wanted someone to actually believe in me, that what they're learning will teach them something, you know. Because a lot of the stuff that you see that's regurgitated online is the same stuff. So like somebody just copied it off to the other guy and just changed the words a little bit and then sold it as their own product. That's how most of the world operates, actually, if you think about it. You know, everything is just a bunch of regurgitated information. Maybe change the words around a little bit, and then it's something new. And then they'll market it and make money off of that. But I actually want to create something that someone would find unique and easy to learn, and actually, put in the work to get to that point. Because I did it, and I know people say, well, if I could do it, anybody could do it. But I actually think that if I can do this stuff, anybody can do it. I mean, I could train my dog to do this. Well, maybe not, but you get my point. So I started this channel so hopefully I could help more people, kind of figure it out, because it's hard. It is hard. You get in this like depression, after you retire or lose your job, and you don't know what road to go down, because you seem lost almost. There's so much information out there that it's information overload. With all the other crap that we got going on in our lives, family, friends, whatever, it's hard to learn. It really is. It's hard to focus. But you can learn this stuff in just a few hours a week. You can learn anything. And I'm not here to teach my way or what I know. I'm just here to help people. Because I know a lot of different things. I know a lot of ways to make money online. And to me, that's the biggest market there is the internet. There is no bigger market than the internet. Because we use this word a lot, and it's called a force multiplier. The internet is a force multiplier, because once you have something on the internet, you now have a worldwide audience. Whoever can get the internet can actually see your product. It's not just sitting in a store window, where only a few people can see it. Now you've got billions of people capable of seeing your product, whatever it is that you want to market or sell. There's platforms that you can sell products on, like Etsy and all that kind of stuff. You can set up a Shopify store stuff. But, using your skills that you already have is probably the best way to start something new. You'd be surprised at how many people want to learn how to knit. You'd be surprised how many people want to learn how to grow tomatoes, in the wintertime. Or grow habanero peppers in the winter. You know what I mean? I mean, you think that what you know is so little that nobody cares, but you'd be surprised how many people actually do care. Enough to where it would make you a very sizable income. You just got to get yourself out there. That's all it is. You just got to put yourself out there, put in a little work, and get yourself out there. Hopefully, as my videos get better. Like I said, I'm new at this YouTube stuff. I've made tons of videos, but it's on the back side. I'm behind the camera instead of in front of it. I've edited tons of videos. I learned how to video edit with Adobe Premiere. CapCut's good editing tool. It's very beginner friendly. So I use, I'm not really partial to any one. I mean, if I'm going to do something for a client, I'll probably use Adobe Premiere. But if I'm doing it for myself, I'm just going to use CapCut because it's quick, easy, and just boom. Because I know I don't like flashy things, but that's not saying that other people don't. And a lot of these editing tools that we have are, to create a lot of really high quality products. And I'm as laid back and easy as it gets. I just want to be, start and finish and very little editing. This is kind of the way all my products are. I want to make it very minimal, very minimalistic, easy to understand. And that's it. I don't like things to be too technical. You know, too technical sometimes is too technical. It's too hard to understand. So I try to make everything that I do and everything I create very minimalistic so people can understand. Because I want people to, you know, be able to learn what I teach them or create for them or anything. So that's why I started this channel, to help my fellow Gen Xers. And if you got questions, comments, anything, leave it in the comments below there. And I'd appreciate it if you like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. That would mean a lot, because I guarantee you I'm going to make more videos. And if there is anything that you'd like to learn or know about, just leave a comment and I will message you right back and answer anything that you have. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.